Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar featuring a strength and mobility exercise class. I'll be your moderator for today's session. My name is Jennifer Harris, and I work in the Division of Prevention and Rehabilitation at the University of Ottawa Heart Institute. A few housekeeping notes before we get started. You will have noticed the slide that talks about what you can use for today's session. A safe space to move, running shoes, some weights or an elastic band or even soup cans, a water bottle, a sturdy chair or sofa, and a cell phone. It's also a good idea to let someone know you are exercising. Now is a good time to gather your items if you haven't already and would like to join our class. Before I introduce our speakers, I will take a moment to read our important disclaimer. As with any exercise programs, you should consult your physician or other healthcare professional before starting this or any other virtual workout to determine if it's right for your needs. Do not start these exercises if your physician or other healthcare provider advises against them. The information presented in this session is intended for a general audience and is not a substitute for, nor does it replace, professional medical advice. The performance of the activities seen in this video is solely at your own risk. The University of Ottawa Heart Institute is not responsible for any injury or harm you sustain as a result of your attempt to perform the activities in this video. If you experience dizziness, pain, or shortness of breath at any time while exercising, you should stop immediately. If you are in Canada and think you are having a medical emergency, call your healthcare professional or 911 immediately. Now, before we get started with our class, I'm going to invite our fourth-year Human Kinetics intern, Veronique Poirier-Lacasse, to ask you a few questions about strength training to get your brains warmed up.
Perfect, thank you, Jennifer. So we're going to put up a few poll questions and you guys can take the time to answer it, and afterwards we will discuss some of the answers. So first question is, we'd like to know what equipment you have in your home for doing exercises. So 69% of you have dumbbells and free weights, and everyone seems to have some sort of resistance option, whether it be bands or soup cans. So that's fantastic. Let's go to the next question. Did you know that the Canadian Physical Activity Guidelines recommend strength training? So pick an answer, whether you think they recommend strength training once a week, twice a week, 2 to 3 times a week, or 4 times a week. Perfect, so most of you got the answer right. The Canadian Physical Activity Guidelines do recommend strength training 2 to 3 times a week. So if you can try to incorporate that, then that is excellent. And I'm pretty sure we have one more question for you guys. You can strength train at any age, true or false? And that is correct, true. You can strength train at any age. And it is recommended that we throw it in a little bit every week.
Thank you, Veronique. And thank you to our audience. You guys are very knowledgeable and very engaged, so that's great. I will now introduce our exercise leader. Tracy Beardsley is a personal trainer and group fitness instructor specializing in strength and mobility classes, as well as indoor and outdoor cycling. She has been working in the fitness field for over 25 years and is happiest when cycling, cross-country skiing, or running in the great outdoors. We are proud to have her as one of our HeartWise exercise partners. HeartWise exercise is a model powered by the University of Ottawa Heart Institute that involves training and designating community exercise programs. The designated programs are appropriate for those with heart conditions, or really any kind of chronic condition, as well as those who simply wish to get started with exercise. We are grateful that Tracy is offering this strength and mobility class as part of our HeartWise webinar series. The class we are offering is suitable for many levels. However, if you had open heart surgery in the last 8 weeks, or have pain when you do any of the exercises, do not use the weights or bands or soup cans. Simply work through the movements with no resistance. We did receive one question in advance about how to know if the level of exercise is safe for you. Tracy will take some time to lead us through warm-up and help get our hearts and muscles ready for the exercises. And she'll also be reminding us throughout the class to do what feels comfortable for you. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Tracy.
Good Friday afternoon, everyone. My name is Tracy Beardsley, and I am thrilled to be with you today. And I'm very excited to take you through a strength and mobility class. So I know that Jennifer already mentioned, but if you have either some soup cans, I have some beans and some tomatoes here, and a band, that would be great. If not, don't worry, you can do all of these exercises with one or the other, okay? I am going to be using both of them, but can definitely demonstrate with the band or the free weights, but all of these exercises can be done with both. If you have free weights instead, like I have here, you are welcome to use those as well. So I'll just let you know what the sort of format is of today's class. I'm going to take you through a cardiorespiratory warm-up, and then we're going to move into some movement prep exercises to just kind of loosen up our joints, kind of mimic the movements that we're going to do in our strength exercises to get them warmed up as well. So that is our plan. So we will start with our cardiorespiratory warm-up. And before we do though, I just want you to know that it is always your workout. So if anything doesn't feel right or doesn't feel good for your body, please, just skip that exercise. And, if it was a live interaction, I would say, please, pipe up and let me know, and I can give you an alternative, because there is always an alternative to work a certain muscle. So never feel like you have to kind of suffer through something that doesn't feel right for your body. Okay, so we are going to do a nice sort of longer warm-up. I find most instructors and coaches tend to skimp on our warm-up in the fitness industry. So it's really important that you do spend that time to warm up and cool down your body. So let's just start. Again, your pace. You don't have to move at my speed. It can be faster if you want it to be. It can be slower. Movements can be smaller. Movements can be bigger. So you make it make it work for your body. Okay. So we're going to just start off with again, we're going to warm up our heart and get our body moving. So I'm going to have you just start with a basic march. Excellent. And we're going to just stay here. And again, the speed, if it works for you, fantastic. If it doesn't, no worries. You just make it a little slower. Make it, again, your workout that works for you. Wonderful. We're going to go take that little kind of march, just go a little bit wider. We don't tend to do a lot of lateral movements in life. We don't walk around like this too often, do we? And then we're going to bring our feet back together. I don't know where you're joining us from, but I'm in Ottawa, and we still have some snow on the ground. It's slowly melting right now. So going out wider. Excellent. And coming back in. So again, the idea behind the warm-up is to gradually feel like your body temperature is increasing. You're feeling like you're getting a little bit warmer. Muscles are feeling a little looser, the joints. So now in our warm-up, I'm going to get you to tap your toe forward, and we're going to do that in 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we're just going to bring that toe forward. If it works for you, you can add the arms in. If it doesn't, no worries. Excellent. So again, you don't have to add in the arms. I'm not very coordinated, so I tend to do sort of pretty basic things, and when I can. Excellent. So we're going to do 4 more of those, and then we're going to tap behind us with our foot. And we'll do that in 4, 3, 2, and we're going to tap behind. So you're going to be going that way, and I'm going this way. Perfect. And if it works, we'll add just a little mini row with our arms. I'm just going to kind of turn to the side just so that you can see kind of what my arms are doing. Great. Perfect. Good job. Excellent. I hope everyone's got some exciting plans for the weekend. Hope. Excellent. And 4, 3, 2, we're going to go back to the marching. So just marching. Wonderful. So we're going to make our movements just a little bit bigger here. And we're going to do what is called a knee lift. And we'll do that again in 4, 3, 2, and 1. So just a little knee lift. Doesn't have to be too high. Excellent. And if we want to add in some arms, we'll do that now. So we're going to kind of pull from the sky, our elbows down. Great. Excellent. And again, if this bothers your shoulder in any way, you can just leave those hands on your hips. Great, we're going to do 4 more and then back to marching. Excellent. So now I'm just going to turn my view just so that you can kind of see what's going on with the back of my body. But we're going to do what is called a butt kick. And I'm going to have you bring that heel towards the buttocks. And we're going to do that in 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we're going to try and kind of hit our bum with our heel. Excellent. So you're working a little bit of the hamstrings, the back of the legs, and again, just kind of warming them up. So again, if we want to add a little bit of a pull for the upper back, getting a little bit of the arms moving. So we're going to do 4 more here and then back to marches in 4, 3, 2, and march. Good job. So now hopefully you feel like you're a little warmer. You may need to take off a layer, depending on if you're in a warm house and the sun is beaming down. Excellent. So we're going to bring our march slowly down. And then our next part of our warm-up is our movement prep. So what we're doing here in the movement prep is we're really trying to simulate some of the movements that we are doing in our strength exercises. And I have only 8 exercises for you today, and that's it. And you know, you are welcome to look at this video at any time, and you are welcome to do them after we've done them this first time together, anytime. So you have this in your toolbox, in your toolkit. All right, so we're just gonna kind of loosen up the shoulders. So I'm just gonna get you to roll those shoulders up and back. So I'm just gonna give you a side view. But we're just rolling those shoulders up and back. I tend to like to do a lot more work for the upper back than for the chest, because we tend to be weaker in the upper back, and you know, partially because we do everything forward. You know, we're at a computer all day, and our upper traps are up towards our ears. So we want to really stretch the chest, but work the upper back. So the next warm-up prep is just scapular what's called scapular retraction and depression. So we're just really just squeezing the shoulder blades together and relaxing. So you're just kind of squeezing those blades and releasing. So just squeezing and releasing. I'm just going to turn so that my back is facing the camera, and you're just squeezing and releasing. So we're really trying to work right through here, that mid to lower trapezius. So you guys are welcome to keep going with the movement. I may talk and kind of stop showing you the exercise, but I want you, if it works, for you to kind of keep going as I'm educating, okay? Wonderful. So the next movement prep is going to be for our thoracic spine. So again, kind of that mid-back area through here. And we're going to do a thoracic spine rotation. So you have two options. This is the easier of the two. Just going to place your hands on your shoulders, and I'm just going to have you look towards your right shoulder. And then we're going to come back to center. And then you're looking over your left shoulder and back to center. So the hips stay square, but we're just doing a little rotation with the torso. To make it a little bit more challenging, you can bring your fingertips to your ears and you can kind of look over that shoulder again. Excellent. So whichever option, both work. One more each side, and then we're going to kind of warm up our lower body. Wonderful. So let's just bring in our chair, if you have one, hopefully, or something that you can hang on to, a couch, anything that works, anything that's stable. So I'm going to have you just kind of warm up our lower body now. So I'm going to have you do a slight knee lift. It can be this high, it can be lower. And then we're bringing the leg down. And then I'm just going to have you do an abduction. So bring that leg out to the side. I'm going to turn around to show you the next position. It's a hamstring curl and lower down. So we're going to repeat those three. So it's knee up and leg to the side, warming up the glute. And now we're doing a hamstring curl, warming up the hamstring. So knee lift, this is warming up quad hip flexor, this guy right here, glutes, and then curl. Wonderful. Now we're going to do the same on the other side. So it's going to be knee up and abduct, and then you're curling. If it works for you to do without hanging on, great. It's a wonderful thing to work on balance. And then we're going to curl, keeping the knees together. And again, knee up, abduct. And again, you don't have to not hang on. You can hang on. And just one more. So knee up, abduct, and then curl. Wonderful. We are warmed up. We've done our cardiorespiratory warm-up. We have done our functional movement prep in preparation for our strength training. And now we're moving on to our 8 exercises that I'm going to go through with you. And I am going to be alternating between an upper body, a lower body, a core exercise, and running through that pattern so that you've got a break in between the muscle groups that we're working. If you need any water, go grab it now, and then we're going to start into our first upper body exercise. So this first one you can do either with a band or a weight or a soup can. I'll show you both. I'll just show you the movement briefly, and then whatever tool you have access to, we will do. You are going to be bent forward. Again, you're going to have support from the chair, and you're bending from the hip. And now, if this position doesn't look great to you, you can do it seated and bent forward. So if your back is not happy with leaning forward that way, despite having some support, sit down, have your chest forward, and you can row like that, okay? So if you have a can, this is the movement. If you have a band, what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab the band, put weight on the band so you have some tension, and you're just going to row in that same motion. So whichever tool you have access to, you can use. So I'm going to demonstrate with a soup can because I definitely know most of us have a soup can. Then we're going to aim to do 12 to 15 of these. So breathing out on the way up and breathing in. And you're really thinking about keeping the upper trap, which is this muscle right here, and the shoulder away from the ear, and keeping that elbow pinned to the side of the body. So you're just breathing out and breathing in. Nice, slow, and controlled. And I'm going to get you, for the most part, to do your own counting and go to, again, what works for you in terms of 12 to 15 repetitions. And again, breathing out and breathing in and breathing out and breathing in. Great job. So now we're going to switch and do the other side. I'm going to just adjust my chair. So again, you have the option to stay seated if your back doesn't love that. And again, I'll demonstrate this side maybe as in this position. Or again, you can bend forward with the knees soft, and we're just rowing that elbow up and down. And again, doing 12 to 15 repetitions. So just breathing out and breathing in and really thinking about the muscle that you're working. So right now we're working the rhomboids, so the upper back muscles. So we'll do another about 4 or so here. And again, if you're at home doing it on your own, you can count your 12 to 15 repetitions. Excellent. Great job. Wonderful. So we can put that soup can down for now, or your band. And the next exercise is going to be for the lower body. And what we're going to do here is what is called a squat or a chair sit. So I'm going to demonstrate with the chair. Just make sure the chair is right behind you. So for this exercise, we're working the quads, so the front part of the thighs, the hamstrings, and the glutes. So big bang for your buck here. And if you think about the movement that I'm going to show you, I'll show it to you first, but your feet are going to be shoulder width apart, and our knees ideally are tracking above your ankles. And you're just going to sit down as though you're sitting on the chair, and then you're going to come back up. So this would be a squat. We're using the chair so that we don't go backwards, but if you can do it without the chair, you are welcome to do so. So we're coming down for 2 and up for 2. Shortly, I'm going to kind of turn towards the camera and just kind of show you what we want from our knees. We want to keep the knees from coming in towards the midline of the body. So breathing out and breathing in, nice, slow, and controlled. And to make the chair sit more challenging, you can just kind of hover over the chair. You don't actually have to sit there. And if you think about what we do in our daily lives, we do this squat a lot when we go to the bathroom, don't we? So pretty important that we have the strength to do this movement, because we know we're going to go to the bathroom a few times during the day. All right, so again, 12 to 15 of these. Wonderful. Excellent. So we worked the upper back. We did a lower body exercise. The next exercise is going to be a core exercise called an oblique crunch, but we're going to do it in a seated position. So you are welcome to do this on the floor if that works better for you, but I'll demonstrate the position and you make it, again, the intensity that you need to make it. So what we're going to do is, this is less challenging than the alternative that I'm going to show you, but you are going to twist and bring your opposite knee up towards the elbow. So it's an opposite elbow, knee lift and turn. Excellent. So just breathing out and breathing in. To make it a little bit more challenging, your fingertips are at your ears and breathing out and breathing in. Really want to make sure that we never hold our breath. Excellent job. So we'll just do a few more here together. And again, if you can do this position on the floor, if it works for you to come down there, but it's okay to do it here as well, in that chair. Excellent. We'll do a couple more. And release. So really kind of feeling it right through the side of the body, the obliques, and you may feel a little bit through the rectus abdominis as well. Wonderful. So we've done upper back, we've done lower body, we have done a core exercise. Our next one, number 4, is going to be with the free weights, again, or your soup cans, and we are going to do a lateral raise. So we're just lifting our arms out to the side. So breathing out and breathing in. And again, if you have heavier weights at home and it works for you and you've been training and you know you can do a little heavier, please feel free to do so. I'm going to stand and just show you that you can make this a little bit challenging as well. If you want to work a little bit on balance, you can lift up one leg. And again, we're breathing out and breathing in. And we're really trying to make sure that we keep our wrists neutral and our knees soft. So again, you can do it standing or seated, whichever position works best for you. Let's do a couple more here. Excellent. And release. Wonderful job. Excellent job. All right, so the first 4 done and dusted. Now we're moving on to the next 4. I'm going to give you an exercise for the chest, the shoulders, and the triceps, and it's called a chest press. I'm going to grab out my handy dandy band again, and I'm going to show this one to you from a side view because I think it's going to be a little easier for you. And if you don't have a band, no worries. Mine is kind of tied in a knot, so it's going to look a little funny, but you want it around you like this and around your upper back. And what we're going to do is we are going to just grab the band. You can make sure that you've got a little bit of tension there, and we're just going to bring our arms out and then back in again. So it's a pushing out. I'll show you from the front. So breathing out and then breathing in. Do the side view again, breathing out and breathing in. If you want more intensity, what you want to do is grab further closer to the band and closer to your body, and it's going to make it a little bit more challenging. But the idea is that you want to try and keep that tension constant in the band so it never kind of loses tension. So breathing out and breathing in. So again, we're working chest, we're working some of the shoulders, and we're also working the triceps. So breathing out and breathing in. And we're going to do one more here. Breathe out and breathing in. Excellent. Wonderful. So how many of you know how many exercises we've done? We've done 5 so far. We've got 3 to go. So the next one is going to be, again, for the lower body. So we're going to have you up, but it is either with the band or without this one. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate it without the band to start, and then I'm going to show you how to do it with the band. So we are actually going to be working a muscle that tends to be very weak for most of us, and can, when it's strengthened, can help with balance and also protection of our knee joint. Because when it's not strong, our knees tend to take some of the brunt of impact and over time. So really important. It's called the medial glute. And it, as I said, it's a muscle that tends to be very weak for, I would say, 99.9% of us unless you work on it. So the movement, we're going to have the knees tracking side by side, and we're just lifting that leg slightly up and back together. So I'm going to show you side view. So it's up for 2 and down for 2. And again, we're sort of, you can grab onto the chair for stability. So breathing out and breathing in. So if that's enough of a challenge, great. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, I'm just going to show you how you can use the band for this one as well. So you just, I would suggest doing it seated, getting the band on. And what you're going to do here is, you've got the band just above the knees, and it's tied in a knot. And again, you can hang on to the chair for balance, and it's just a lifting up and back together. Again, show you a front view, lifting up and back together. So the leg that's working, and actually both legs are working because this leg has to stabilize you as well. But the leg that is working is bent at 90 degrees, and we're just doing a lift up and nice and slow and controlled on the way down. So again, for this one, depending on if you're using the band or if you're just using your body weight, you'd likely do, again, 12 to 15 if it works. And breathing out and breathing in. Excellent. So now we have to do the other side. And what you will find here, and again, no need to actually use the band if you don't want to. You can just pretend as though the band isn't there and just do the movement. But what you're going to find here is, because this leg was supporting you, and when this leg was working, this leg might be a little bit more tired on this one. So again, the knee is bent, and we're just doing an abduction with the leg. So it's breathing out and breathing in. So again, for those of you that maybe have been working on balance and you know that you can do it without hanging on, great. And one way to kind of slowly progress to working on balance would be to just have the chair nearby and just kind of lightly kind of hover over it. Breathing out and breathing in. So again, working that medial glute. Again, you know, most of us don't have strong medial glutes. It's kind of the smaller muscle of the glute. It's not the big glute max. So we're going to do a few more on this side. So again, if it works, 12 to 15 of these. Nice, slow and controlled. Excellent. Breathing out and breathing in and breathing out and breathing in. Wonderful. Excellent. So 6 down and 2 to go. So again, you may want to sit if you did have the band. Sit to take off the band. Again, if you need any water, please feel free to take it anytime. So 2 more exercises. The next exercise is the plank. So I'm going to show you a couple of different options here. One that's going to be a little bit easier and one that's going to be a little bit more challenging. So this one, you can just make sure that your chair is supported. So you can either do it from the knees, and we're just going to hold this position, and maybe we'll count together for a certain period of time. Now, to make it more challenging, if this is really easy for you, you can lift your body weight up onto your toes and just support your body weight here. But the idea is that your body is in one straight line from your head to your toes or your knees, whichever one, and we're just holding that position. Really important that you don't hold your breath and that you're keeping your head and neck in line with your spine, because we tend to, sort of drop our head. You want to keep your core braced. You want to make sure that you're not arching your back. And again, you have the option to do it from the toes, just holding that, or again, from the knees. And typically I would suggest, anywhere between 15 to 30 seconds for that one. And if that's 15 is too long, maybe it's 10 seconds, and then you work up to 30 seconds, and then 45, and a minute, and you can change the degree of intensity. So starting from the knees, working to the toes, and then eventually you can move that to the floor even. So options there, but core exercise there with the plank. Great job. Last and final one for you. We've done 7. Here's our last one. We're going to be working on small little muscle group called the rotator cuff. And there's actually 4 little small guys in the rotator cuff, and it helps to stabilize our shoulder joint. And I remember reading a stat once that I think over 80% of us over 40 in our lifetimes may have a rotator cuff injury at some point. So this exercise helps to strengthen it and help prevent injury. And that's a big reason why we want to strength train. So I'm going to have you bring the band in your palms, bring your elbows to your side, and we're just going to bring the band out and then back in. So you're just breathing out and bringing the band out and back in. Now, if you don't have the band, you are welcome to do the same movement with the free weights as well, or the soup cans. So just breathing out and breathing in. So you guys keep going and I'll just demonstrate. It's not as effective with the soup cans, but it still works. So you're just kind of bringing it out and in. It still works. It's good. So again, you have that option. If you only have soup cans, you don't have a band, you're just bringing the weights out, but keeping the elbows to the side of the body and then back in. So breathing out and breathing in. I'll just show you again just a few more times just with the band. Keep going, don't stop. Breathing out. And again, 12 to 15 reps. So breathing out and breathing in. And I'll just show you a side view. Breathe out and breathe in. Wonderful. You are done all 8. So what I would suggest, we're gonna move into some stretches next. And as we're stretching, I'll just kind of give you more education, more reasons why we're doing the things that we're doing. But first of all, let's stretch out the quad, and you did a fantastic job. And because you have the video, you are more than welcome to access it, and you could do a couple of sets. So you could like pause the video and maybe do a set, take a break, and do a second set. Or you could do all 4 exercises and then repeat them again. Okay, so there's lots of options there. We really only went through 1 set, and I really wanted you to get the form and the technique down pat. So I'm gonna have you stretch out the quad and the hip flexor here. So you've got just gonna move my chair back just a little bit here. So you've got your knee bent, of the back leg, and just feeling that right through the quadricep. You're actually sitting on the chair. If you want to add just a little bit of a reach up towards the ceiling, you're going to feel that a little bit more through the hip flexor and the quad. Typically, in terms of stretching, they suggest sort of 20 to 30 seconds hold, but my suggestion would be to hold it as long as it feels comfortable for you, and then you can transition. So just enough that you feel a release, and if it feels great to hold it longer, fantastic. So we're going to switch to the other side. So again, kind of tucking up the pelvis a little bit like this. You've got your knee bent, and we're just going to lift those arms all the way up. And just kind of breathing through. And if it doesn't work to do overhead, no worries. You can just leave your arms down. And again, just feeling that through quad and hip flexor. Wonderful. So the next stretch is going to be for the glute. So I'm going to give you a couple of options here. I'll do it forward here. If it works for you to get that angle up to the knee, great. And then we're just going to bend forward. So if that doesn't work, you can keep the leg down a little bit and maybe just kind of bring the ankle up a little higher, and then you can bend forward, and you're going to feel that through that glute. So whatever range of motion you have, you know, you can, if you've got good range of motion, you know, through that glute. I have very tight glutes, so I tend to be very tight there. So whatever works for you to get that glute stretch. Excellent. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So again, you can either bring that ankle to the knee and then bend forward. And again, feeling that glute stretch. Or again, if that's too much, you're just leaving the leg down and you've still got that leg crossed. Just kind of want to show you. And then you're bending forward and feeling that through the glutes. And again, if you've got that range of motion, you can bring that ankle up a little higher and then bending forward from the hip and the waist. Excellent. Wonderful. Next one is for the adductor. So this is for the inner thigh. So you're going to have that leg straight out. And I'm just going to have you feel that right through the inner thigh. Excellent. If you need a deeper stretch, you can bring that leg a little bit further back, but feeling that right through the inner thigh through here. Excellent. So in general, the guidelines are to try and do strength training twice a week if you can. And you can do, you know, in the beginning, one set is just as good as doing 2 or 3 sets. And, you know, guidelines typically, you know, 12 to 15 repetitions of each exercise. Switching to the other leg. Again, you can bring that leg out to the side and feeling that through the adductor. Wonderful job. So one of the things I learned at one of my fitness conferences was that muscles don't know how old you are. They just know use and disuse. So muscles don't know how old you are. They just know use and disuse. I tell that to my clients all the time. So it's never too late. And again, helps to prevent injury. Helps to give us, again, one of the things we do tend to lose as we get older, and we're all getting older, sadly, is muscle mass. So we're going to stretch at the calf. You can use the chair if you wish to, but we're just going to bring that one leg back, heel flat, and the hips are square. And again, if you need to just kind of stabilize with the chair, no problem, but you're feeling that through the back of the leg, right through between the ankle and the knee. And then we'll switch to the other side. Excellent. And again, heel flat. And again, just holding until you kind of feel a little bit of a release. Wonderful. And we'll just do a few upper body stretches. So we're going to stretch out the upper back. You can reach those arms ahead of you. The knees are soft. And Wrap around our arms. We're going to stretch at the chest, reaching those. If you have the range of motion, you can reach those hands up towards the ceiling. Our chest tends to be really tight. Wonderful. And then we'll just stretch out the back of the shoulder. So just kind of adding pressure on the hand. Excellent. And the other side. Wonderful. And then we'll get one last stretch in here for the triceps, reaching the arm back and reaching that hand down the back. And release. And the other side. Wonderful. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today on this Friday, and I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
So much, Tracy, and thank to you all for joining us. And we're really happy that you stayed with us and enjoyed that class. We did receive a few questions, so I'll invite Tracy to answer them as we wrap up our session. Just to get us started, we did have a few people ask about where they could access that video. And so I will let you know the recording will be on the website next week. So you can redo and join again that class as often as you'd like. And we'll also let you know where you can access Tracy's services if you want to find out more about what she has available. We also, Tracy, had a few questions about the rotator cuff question. So we got asked about hand positioning as well as the best way to avoid a rotator cuff injury.
Okay, so I'm just gonna grab my band. I actually have it with me here. One of the questions was which wrist position. So you can definitely do it with the palms up, which I demonstrated in the video. Or you can have your palms neutral and pull out that way. So your palms facing you, doesn't matter, both work. And to be honest, the best way to prevent an injury is through strengthening the rotator cuff. So there's lots of ways to do it, but that one in the video is probably the most basic one to do. But wrists either facing each other or palms up, is fine. Both ways work.
Great. In terms of avoiding an injury?
Yep, so same thing, really just strengthening and, strengthening the rotator cuff and just, a lot of times injuries are repetitive stress issues. Repeated overuse of an area. So you just, again, through strengthening and stretching in general, upper body wise as well, that should help to prevent the injury. But direct strengthening of the rotator cuff should help in stretching.
Wonderful, thank you. We also received a question. I do find myself repeating resistance workouts that I like. What modifications to a workout routine would you recommend to help make it more intense? I guess as it gets easier, of course.
Right. So, I mean, the first thing you can do is make the same exercises more challenging, either by increasing the load. So either through increasing the weight, or if you're doing, like, let's just take the plank, for instance. If you wanted to make that more challenging, you could go from an incline to the floor. The other way to make the exercises more challenging is to vary your routine. So that's really important as well, because our body gets used to what we do with it. So it's important to, I would say sort of after, a good 4 to 6 weeks to do some different exercises.
Thanks so much. And we received a question about helping to stay, or how do you stay motivated? And I think, we recognize that it's a challenge to stay motivated with doing different things. So I'll invite you to have a look at the PWC webinar website, where you can view other webinars for different ideas. And we also have a lot of different exercise classes that you can click on to try new things. And we encourage you to join us again on the last Friday of every month, where we will play a variety of different exercise programs so you can get exposed to different things, and variety can sometimes help us stay motivated. Finally, we also want to let you know about a study that we have going on for people who are living with atrial fibrillation. So it is an exercise study. And if it's something that you're experiencing, you can certainly consider reaching out to Mateus Mistra. We'll put the email in the chat function if you do want to find out more about that study. And I will note that that takes place at the Heart Institute in Ottawa. So you do need to be living locally to take advantage of that study. So thank you once again, Tracy, for providing us that great class, and to you all for joining us during this session. Just a final reminder that you can access Tracy and her services at tjfit.ca. And lastly, a very important reminder that hospitals and their emergency departments have taken additional measures to ensure the safety of their patients. And so please be sure that if you or your loved one need medical attention, you do not hesitate to go to the emergency room. Thank you again, and have a wonderful day.